In 1985, the meatpacking industry was considered to be one of the most hazardous in the United States. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, it had the highest injury rate of any industry in the country for 5 consecutive years.
The meat industry, since the beginning of time, has always been known as having really well-paying jobs, but part of the norm was you were going to be injured, whether it be losing a finger or having an amputation. Animals just showing up once a week, and it was considered that's just a way of running the business.
By its very nature, meatpacking is a dangerous production process. Yet in 2001, a few major U.S. meat producers made a commitment to make it a safer industry.
They decided that there should be an injury-free environment, which meant changing the concepts and the way they run their business. It didn't change the machinery, it didn't change the design of the people, it didn't change the design of the building. It just changed completely the idea of how they were going to run their business, which meant they could be down for 30 seconds, 3 minutes, or a day. It didn't matter. Injury-free was the goal now.
Increased employee training plus third-party audits have helped to improve workplace safety and reduce injuries.
Training in the past has been based on PowerPoints or videos or talking about the process. More training was implemented, and the change in the concept of how training, instead of being compliance-based where you could meet an OSHA standard but still not have to wear the gear, for example, like hazmat, it was now how do you wear the gear, how do you hold a meter, how do you do the job tasks such as lockout that you'd be actually required to do. This in fact will lower the injuries. You've actually trained on the task and not just talking about the task.
Some of the changes the industry has made in the way they're training is they've started training on what incorrect looks like or unsafe looks like, and they've also brought in the employee's work environment instead of just training in a perfect environment on what only correct looks like. And the reason why they've done this is because they wanted the employee to have several buffers in place in case their mind was not on the task during the workday, that they would still be safe. And this has resulted in a cleaner and more organized and more productive workplace.
Creating a safer work environment does create new challenges for companies.
The companies in America strive to have injuries go to zero, which is a great idea. The competitive problem they have is overseas do not follow the same rules and regulations as they do in America. Therefore, if you have a chemical leak or if you have an injury or you're trying to prevent the injury by being down a little longer, you're still competing in a world market. And that world market is at the grocery store or at the restaurant when the consumer's buying that product.
With the increased downtime that the companies have had to incur due to mitigating safety issues, there has been some positive things that have come out of that, and one of those has been an increased push in efficiency, which has made the business more profitable. In addition to that, there's been an increase bleed over into environmental, where there's been reductions in water usage and reductions in the electrical usage. So that's been very effective in reducing their environmental footprint and increasing community stewardship.
If a focus on safety can help save lives and still improve the bottom line for companies, perhaps more meat producers, nationally and globally, will look to these models.
The U.S. meat industry is the safest that it's ever been in history for worker safety as well as for food safety concerns. And this downward trend of striving for zero worker issues and zero food safety concerns is going to continue into the future.
Allen Safety is a leader in process improvement training and audits for farms, feed mills, and meat production plants. Allen Safety specializes in hazmat, confined space, and sanitation safety training.
Allen Safety's role, goals, responsibility all come down to one thing: making a customized process for a location, for an employee that reduces their injuries. In doing so, we take things such as hazmat and we work with the manufacturers and we work with the fire departments and we work with the locations on new concepts and ideas that handle and manage leaks quicker and faster. There was not as much exposure to the employee. With regards to sanitation, we work on the entire process of breaking down the equipment up to putting the equipment back together and all the hazards created for the location and the sanitation employees and all the chemicals or PPE they're having to wear. In regards to something like a confined space or equipment design, how can we design a piece of equipment that allows us to do less confined space entries, therefore reducing risk of employees having to do a task?
Allen Safety performs safety, sanitation, and process safety management audits that are customized to your location and aimed at reducing injuries to zero.
Our auditing style is a little bit different than what is typically used. Instead of using a cop gotcha style audit, what we like to do is take the management teams and the supervisors out to the floor and actually watch each employee perform each job task throughout the whole 24-hour period and use it as a training tool to help those managers and supervisors identify risk and then identify any risk that could escalate if it's allowed to continue. If we do find a situation that needs to be corrected, our goal is to find a solution within the next 5 minutes rather than allow that practice to go on for the next 5 weeks or next 5 months.
If you are ready to move your company to the next level in safety, Visit allen-safety.com today.